Hello, and welcome to another episode of Faucets of Reality. This is episode 8, and today I'm going to cover a subject which has long given me a lot to ponder on for sure. And as a philosopher, I just think that this is something that's very important to understand the situation that we're in right now. And the subject is capitalism. What is it? Where does it come from? Where are we going with it? Hello, and welcome. My name is Dmitry Markolov, aka at Dmitry Make Love, and you're listening to an episode of Faucets of Reality, a show in which we explore, learn about, and grow our understanding of what it is to be human at this time on Earth. Ever since I can remember, and it feels like forever, I have been fascinated with what all this is: being, life, and the nature of reality in general. It is now my hope to traverse these different facets and expand consciousness together with you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being here. And with that, let's begin. Now, I gotta say that I'm not an economist. I haven't studied this for that much, that long. I didn't go to school for this. I'm sure there's many people who know much more about the technical details of it, but I am simply here to talk about my own thoughts and what I think of it, honestly, because, it is coming from my perspective. You're listening to me talk right now, which I just want to say thank you so much if if you appreciate this, if you get something from it, then my mission will be complete. So thank you for listening, you, the one listening to this right now. Thank you. So first of all, capitalism, the word. I think it's called etymology, which is the study of words and where they come from. Capitalism is the idea, it's the system of having capital. And capital is basically some sort of a store of goods, whether it's material or it's ideas or it's art or it's food. It could be many different things, but you have this capital. You have this something to work with. You have this mass of product, you could say. And if you have this capital, you can do things with it. You can distribute it. You can sell it. You can give it out for free if you want. But if you give it out for free, then you're going to soon not have that capital anymore. You're going to have to find another capital. I think of this as like, one person goes out into the woods and they find a gold mine. So now they're in possession of all this gold. In other words, it belongs to them. So capitalism very much uses the idea of ownership. So this idea that you own something, that you own this capital. So let's say, like a bunch of gold. You found all this gold. And gold is a very valuable resource that, a lot of people want. So now you can use that gold basically to trade it or to do with whatever to get anything else in the world, because gold itself is very valuable. So there's definitely value that needs to be attributed to it. But peeling back the layers, capitalism is a system of economy. And again, I'm not an economist, but I'm a philosopher. I like to look into the words of, the meaning of the words, where they come from, and try to trace it back that way. So economy to me And to me, it means sort of a scarcity, and it seems to me an inherently conservative viewpoint that there's only so much, that resources are not unlimited. And this is why we have to create these systems to basically use these resources in the smartest way, which part of that means not using them all up right away. So economizing, being economical, not just spending frivolously all your energy, which, yeah, in the spiritual sense, I guess, like, your number one capital would be your energy, your breath, your soul. This would be, in my heart, that's the most valuable resource we have, is our own volition, our own free will, and our own energy, our attention, for example. There's a whole economy around where our attention goes, isn't there? Especially these days, websites, a lot of times they'll get funded by having eyeballs on there. There's people watching them, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, how many followers you have, whether you're in the news, there's eyeballs on you. So that is an economy right there. Now, going back to capitalism, now I'm not saying it's a bad system or that it doesn't work, because clearly it does. It definitely brought us to where we are now. And in many ways, I would say capitalism works better than socialism, which is kind of the proponent. You'll hear a lot of people say, "Oh, you're against capitalism, well, you must be a socialist." Okay, so capitalism to me is inherently kind of um, capitalism is kind of like one person who owns the capital, and so it's very self-serving. Capitalism is greedy. It means that you value your capital above anyone else. Whereas socialism kind of puts the community, or the social sphere, where everyone is on the same level. So capitalism is it's not equal. I just listened to a podcast recently that got me to thinking about this a lot. It's Intelligence Squared Debates. If you ever heard of that podcast, I definitely recommend checking it out. They really stretch some of these ideas very well, and this episode was, I think, aired late last year. I think it was December in 2022. I had to scroll back. I found it, but it just provoked my interest. It was called "Is Capitalism a Blessing?" And in it, there's four people debating whether or not capitalism is a blessing. And this guy, Richard Wolff, really, I really kind of, was impacted by what he was saying. Now, he's a professor at MIT, I believe, in Massachusetts. He's written books about it. Richard Wolff is the guy's name. He put down a very compelling argument, which is partially why I'm even making this episode, because this idea of capitalism has long, been kind of like in the back of my mind, like, wow, there's something off about it, right? There's something off. Like, thank you, capitalism, for giving us all these material goods and all this technology. But ultimately, I don't think it serves where we're headed as a humanity, or into the new paradigm, so to speak, the new earth. Because as Richard Wolff argues, I feel like very eloquently, he says there's four main reasons why capitalism is not good. And the first one is that it is unstable. And this is something that, I mean, I don't think it can be refuted. I mean, we've had so many market crashes. They come every couple of, every 10 years or so, even maybe sometimes less, where we'll have a big crash. He even says like it traumatizes us, where it's synonymous with capitalism, is that there's these huge ups and downs in how much money is worth, and just the whole enterprise of keeping it going. It's just like it takes a lot of energy to maintain this capitalistic mindset that this is mine, and I need more, 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 more. So it's unstable, which, he said it's really funny. If capitalism was your roommate, you'd try to, you would move out as soon as you can. Like, like thinking of like an emotionally unstable person, which, I have to kind of agree with him. It is unstable. We're not really sure where we're going to be monetarily, the next year, next couple of years, especially now with cryptocurrency and all that. The second point is that it is unequal, which also, I mean, I would have to agree with. Capitalism definitely creates these hierarchies of the haves and the have-nots, so to speak. If you have money, you can go and you can afford health care. You can buy organic food, that like is more healthier for you. You live longer if you have the money, if you have the capital. But I mean, I gotta say, most people aren't in the 1% or whatever it is, or not even in the fifth percent. That's the whole point, is that most people are in that 95% range, which is, I mean, the statistics is like over 50% of people don't have more than $1,000 in their savings account at any one time. So it's it's a great spectrum of disparity that we're in, where there's all these millionaires, all these billionaires, yet for some of us we have to struggle just to put a plate of food, in our on our table. That we have to work these, crazy hours for barely any pay, like slaves, like robots, which I'm gonna get to that soon, because I think AI does have the potential to change things in a good way, but more on that later. So, it's clear to all of us there's this disparity. There is people in poverty, and then there's these really ultra rich people who have billions, millions of dollars, and they have to keep it to themselves, right? They can't just give it out freely. I mean, that's not capitalism, right? I mean, you do donations, but just to get a tax cut. Like, if you're rich, if you have money, not to mention all the other perversions that the rich, can sometimes dabble in. Let's say some of this stuff has been coming out, and it's hard to keep our eyes wide shut. I'm just kidding. I'm just making jokes. I don't want to get too dark about it. Definitely, we got to stay positive. We got to keep going. But I think we're on the precipice of a whole new age right now, and especially with AI, I think things are gonna get much better. So, anyways, so the next point he makes, the third point, is um, that capitalism is undemocratic. It's something definitely to ponder on, because I do I do agree with that in a way, yeah. Because when you go to your job, your corporate job or whatever, even if it's something like McDonald's, or even if it's something like a coffee shop, you have this boss hanging over you, and you have to put in the hours. You have to do what it says. There's no way around it. It's kind of like glorified form of slavery in a way. Like that hasn't been changed. Just a different name. But people, I mean, I've had to work these jobs. I've done this where my first job was in McDonald's actually when I was like 15 years old, and yeah, sure, it built character and it showed me what the world is like. But I didn't like it, you know. I'm sure a lot of you listening right now, maybe working jobs that, you maybe you didn't even choose that. That's not what you wanted to do to begin with. I'm sure a lot of people are working jobs right now that they wouldn't be working at if they didn't need the money, if they didn't need to survive, if they didn't need to eat and have a place to live. So that's where we're at right now. I think there's a big breaking point coming soon. But as for now, yeah, this is where society is. Most people are deeply unhappy because basically they're forced to work. You're forced to get up and go make money. And I don't think there's something not exactly right about that. Basically, I mean, I think like this is post industrial era, where people shouldn't just be harvested for their work output. Okay, like that's really what I think. I think that people are inherently valuable just by existing. Life is valuable just by being here right now, not by how many coffees you can make for other people and how you're forced to be nice to people. It's just like you shouldn't do it because you have to do it. You should do it because you want to, because you came to that conclusion on your own. And it's definitely, growing up is definitely, you stumble a lot, you make mistakes, but they ultimately lead you to the right way, to where you need to be, to maturation. And I think we're maturing as a society. We're learning our lessons, okay? So, finally, the fourth point is that um, that capitalism is unsustainable for the environment. And so this is also something, I mean, environmentally friendly uh, ideas, and I guess as a value is only rising. So we're only getting more smarter about, I mean, they call it going green, but I think that's like a corporate idea. Green is so much more than just that. But we are learning to care for our planet a lot more, and having more connection to the planet, to nature, to the earth, our mother. Like we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our planet. And I know a lot of people are, afraid that we're going to destroy our planet. And even climate change, which is a whole other topic that I don't want to get into, but ultimately I think it's politically used to keep us in this state of shame. Well, again, like this is the system that you provided for us, that I guess, our late ancestors. This is what we've come to as a humanity. And again, I'm not saying capitalism is bad. It got us to where we are. I just think that we need to start thinking of a new system, of a better way to look at the world and at ourselves, to pass on a better world for our children. And it's not going to be easy. We're not just going to overnight, change and flip around. But we got to start walking into that direction. I think already a lot of people have, and you can see it in many different places. Like the internet, for example, I think ultimately it's a very democratic place where anyone is able to go on there, share whatever they want. This is very good. It's giving a voice to our soul, to what we really want, how we really think life should be. And like what I'm doing here right now, I'm talking about my own ideas where hopefully people are listening. But years ago, this wouldn't have been even been able. So capitalism kind of like created this opportunity to go beyond it, right? Every kind of system, every phase, you go through it and then you go beyond it. So what's the next phase? That's the question I'm trying to get you to think about. What's next? Can we live in a way that is not greedy, that doesn't force people to do things they don't want to do, that we can all maintain our sovereignty no matter what it is that we're doing? Again, like capitalism has been very bad for the environment, just like I guess industrialization too. But it's a phase we had to go through. We had to learn our lessons and we have to move on. We have to go and learn even bigger lessons in a bigger place and a better place. But again, this really requires a lot of self-reflection. Um, so I think that yes, the internet now with AI, even though again there's a lot of fear, of course, which you can't really, um, I can't say that's not right because we do have to go through the bad to get to the good. And like I said in my last episode, this whole question of robots taking over or whatever, AI destroying humanity has been on our minds since day one. It's not something that we're just gonna that people who are working on AI, who are really involved in the work, they know about it. Uh, and so another podcast I really, really, really like. I think he's probably my favorite podcaster is Lex Friedman, and he just recently had Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, who that's the company that made ChatGPT, which ChatGPT 3.0 was the fastest rollout of a product in the history of products, I guess, or and it was free. It's free for everyone, and also it's open source, meaning anyone could take the code and use it for whatever applications they want. And some would argue this is very dangerous, but in fact, yeah, he had this other guy recently who I don't even remember his name, and I don't agree with him. I think he's fear mongering and it's very egoistic. like like Lex actually he brought up that point. I mean, if you listen to those last two podcasts he had, today is April 5th, 2023, the day I'm doing this podcast. He it's a lot of fear mongering. Now we can't let fear bring us down and control us. We got to maintain a certain balance in order to continue, in order to get to better places. Yes, there's fear. Yes, there's uncertainty, but that's just part of the human condition. You could say it's part of life. Just by walking out your front door, you're taking a risk. Risk is everywhere. We can't let the bad things bring us down. We can't let those bad thoughts, make us change us. Um, okay, so Sam Altman, I really like this guy. He's the CEO of OpenAI, and he is very. I mean, I really like um, his world vision, I guess you could say. I like what he sees, and he's intentionally making these things free because he really believes, as do I, that these new technologies are going to empower humans to make the world a better place. Now, this is something. Oh, and then I just gotta add, while I'm on Sam Altman, they're also funding the largest study of uh, universal basic income ever made. I think it's going to be completed this fall, which I'm very much looking forward to the results. And if you don't know what universal basic income is, it's an idea that has been kind of bubbling up recently, the past couple of, I don't know, years, decades, and I think it's definitely gaining traction. That all citizens should receive a basic salary, or not salary, but basic income. That's what it is, universal. So everyone gets a basic income. So taking from our tax dollars, everyone gets a check every month. Everyone. If you're a citizen of this country, you're gonna get money. Now, I experienced this firsthand during COVID. The place I was working at closed down, and so I got unemployment. I got unemployment checks. I got $2,000 every month, just cause. And honestly, man, I wish I could go back to that time. That was probably one of the best times of my life. It just gave me the opportunity to live life not in this like pressure chamber, not in this like very tense, I have to go work, I have to go make money. No, like I'm a philosopher, I'm an artist, I'm a poet, I'm a musician. That's my bread and butter. That's how I want to spend my time. That's what I want to do. And I think that if people are given the opportunity to do more art, it would be of immense benefit to all of society, to everyone. People are able to, given the space to really express themselves. Not just that, but to make the world more beautiful and to heal, you could say. I think universal basic income is the way forward. I'm saying this right now, that in a few years, whether it be 5 or 10 or 20, universal income will be a thing. We will all get checks and we'll be free to do whatever we want, live life however we want, learn our lessons, not be under some, capitalistic empire, which brings me to my next point, which is AI itself. I do believe is going to make things better because, for one thing, this is like like an interesting thought that I've been wrestling with for many many years. I think like for at least a decade, and that is, if you didn't have to work, what would you do? Not just that, but we're already kind of in the place where we don't have to work anymore. I mean, there's many people who are sitting on their stocks, their investments, and just collecting money on their royalties. There's many ways on their patents, for example. There's many ways to just do a thing and then you get paid, you just get money coming in. There's already many people living like that already. They don't have to work, or rather they choose how they spend their time. And that is ultimately my vision for myself, and also for, I think, everyone. If we all had that freedom of choice, the world would be much better. Our soul would be free to dance and sing and enjoy just simply existing. So, what else? Yeah, I mean, if you ask me, I think that the way going forward is first and foremost having a connection to, the all. Some people call it God, for example, or source, or divinity, or the one creator, whatever you want to call it. It's within us. We have the connection in our hearts to that beginning, to that origin, to that everything. So I think that once we start valuing our inherent uniqueness, that each one of us was made to give a very unique gift to the world. Once we start valuing that every single person has something to offer, I think then the path forward will be clear. It'll be so much better. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm trying to push us towards that inevitability. Yes, I do think it's going to happen no matter what. But I want to also be on the right wave. And I want to help others get there too. That's why I do anything. That's why I'm here at all. Um, and then also, actually, hold on. Let me see if I have this book here. I wanted to talk a little bit about. Okay, well, it's definitely somewhere. I will find it one day. But there's an author who his name escapes me right now. But I'll look it up. I'll put it in the show notes if you want to look at that. But he wrote a book that I read years ago, and I believe it's called The Sacred Economy or The Gift Economy. And he's like an economist, so he definitely put forth this idea that has changed my thinking about a lot of things. And I got to put this in here right now because I feel like it's so important. Now, what he proposes is that before markets, before trading, and ultimately what's waiting for us in the future is what he terms the gift economy. And you can already see little bits of it here and there right now because wherever you go, to get something, usually people will offer you something for free, right? But basically, he says that before anything else, we were originally, and to begin with, we were in a gift economy, which means that every person, is free to develop their own gift, whether it be, I don't know, making, chairs out of wood or something, or creating beautiful music, whether it's writing, whether it's architecture, whether it's exploring space, whether it's gardening, there's so many different activities that are there for us to do, and usually one of them calls to us, to our soul. Usually we want to pursue something naturally, not because it pays us money necessarily. Of course, that's like that would be a great, plus. But first and foremost, we have something that we want to pursue from our hearts that we were born to do, our like unique gift. And he says that in that type of economy, if you live in like a village or in a community and everyone is producing their own gifts, then first of all the things will be filled because there will be someone to do everything. And secondly, I mean, all you have to do is do that thing that you like to do, and you give it to everyone freely. And then everyone gets everything they need, because if the baker is baking bread and the surgeon is doing surgery and the poet is, working on words, they all exchange those things freely. There's no greed in that economy. It's not like, oh, this is mine and I have to only give you a little bit and I have to maximize profits, and all this stuff. Like, if we all just come back to that, I think there's such a great and deep wisdom there. I think that is where we're headed, into a gift economy. So I mean, already people are doing this. Already we're kind of in a world which encourages creativity and encourages creating whatever you want. That's why this world is great. That's why the universe is amazing, because we can literally create whatever we want. And in fact, we already are. I think that soon enough, AI and robots or whatever, they're gonna do all the menial work for us. They're gonna do all of the construction or whatever it is that we don't want to do ourselves. And then we'll still be open to doing it. I mean, you can still go and, build a building brick by brick if you want to. In fact, I think some people still want to, and even, as unseemingly as it may seem, like being plumbers and stuff, I think there's still going to be people who are interested in that and who want to pursue that as their type of gift that they're going to give, just freely give to the rest of society. I think that's what's going to bring us to an abundant place where, differences will be celebrated, unique creations and unique styles, and things are going to be really good really soon. I think that is part of the age of Aquarius, which we are just barely beginning. So I'm very excited to see where it will go. Again, I hope this helps maybe expand some views, expand consciousness, and I hope you got something from it. And I hope you can carry on this line of thought in your own personal work. Yeah, so I think this has been the longest episode I've had so far. To think I was like, I really didn't want to at first. It really took a lot out of me to like get up and say all this right now, but I'm feeling good about it. Yeah, I think I mean, this is my gift. This is exactly what I'm trying to say. Like, this is my gift that I'm giving you for free. So, reach out if you want to talk. I am really looking for connections, and I'm really looking to expand any way I can. Again, thank you so much. This is National Poetry Month right now, April 2023. And I am collecting some poems of mine that I've written over my life. And I think I'm going to release my first poetry book pretty soon. I already have a name for it. I'm just kind of putting it all together, designing it, so to speak. Yeah, anyways, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Hey, you made it to the end. You get a gold star. Seriously, thank you so much. You are supporting what I am doing here just by listening, and I appreciate that a whole lot. Remember to subscribe, and if for any reason you wish to reach out, I am on Instagram at Dimitri Make Love. That's DimitryMakelove. Have an amazing day. Remember, all is one. IO. And until next time.